Hey guys, it's Kathy here again, and I'm here with another video. So I just wanted to talk to you today about my budget. I know, what an exciting topic, right? But that's where we're at right now, and it's budget time. I kept track of every single expense for the month of June, and boy, was it eye-opening. Whew. And also, don't mind my hair. I have no idea what it's doing these days. It seems to have a mind of its own, so it's just here on my head, just doing whatever. So just try to ignore it, okay? So as you may or may not know, I use Dave Ramsey's Everydollar budget app on the computer to use for my budgeting use. I use it because it's pretty handy. It's on the computer, like I just said, and I can just pull up my bank account, and I can pull up the budget app, and I input my numbers. I just transcribe them from my bank account to my to the budget, any transactions that occur. So it is very handy and easy to use as well. And really isn't easier better. Easier is always better, right? You know, if it's less work to do, then I'm more likely to do it. So that's why I use Dave Ramsey's Everydollar budget app. And if you haven't, I'll link to it down below and give it a try. It's free. I'm not paying for anything, right? We're on a budget here. I'm not paying for budget software. So I'll link it in the description and give it a try if you are looking for budget software in general or just want to try something different. So I inputted the numbers about every 4 days or so. Yes, more frequently probably would have been better, but that's just not what happened. I sometimes forget because I'm a human being, and sometimes our internet's not working great and I can't input it because I both getting onto my bank account and pulling up the Everydollar app requires an internet connection, Wi-Fi of some sort. And since I don't have a huge data plan on my phone, I rely on the computer most of the time. And if I can't get at it, then I can't get at it. And that's just how it is. But I tried to do it as often as I could. Like I said, ended up being about every 4 days. And that seemed to work out okay. So without further ado, let's get into my computer and look at this budget. Hi, so welcome to my budget. So I just pulled up my everydollar.com budget, and yeah, let's just get into it and see see how I did this month, I guess I should say. So for the paychecks here, I just, because it was pandemic times, my husband was not working as much, so I put in the lowest amounts that he made. And I just keep it as the lowest so I can plan a budget based on the lowest amount that he's likely to bring in. And luckily this month in June, he was back to normal working hours and normal pay. So it's all good, and he has been working pretty steadily. He only had a couple of weeks off due to the pandemic, so we were lucky that way. So doing all right with the paychecks. And as well, not extra income, but other income we get is the child tax benefit, CERB, which was it's like the government funding for people affected by the pandemic who couldn't work. So he had a couple weeks off that he couldn't work, and we got compensated for it. So that's cool. We also got our tax refund this month, which was a good change, and we're just kind of sitting on it right now. We're not sure what we're going to do with it. We want to buy a piece of land, so we might use it for a down payment, but we also might use it for debt repayment too. We're not sure, so we haven't done anything just yet. And I also got a refund in soccer for $310 because I registered my 3 kids in soccer for this year, but that's not going to happen. So that's our income. That was our income from June. So yeah, let's just get into our expenses. So groceries. So I'm not sure what. Yeah, this is better. This is the amount that we paid in groceries, that we spent $2,016.58 this month. I budget $800 a month for groceries. So yeah, something's out of whack here, right? Our spending is out of whack, and I need to rebudget for our groceries for sure, because it is no longer $800. It is much more expensive. But Although if you look at all these expenses, all these groceries, there's definitely room for improvement. Our bill does not have to be $2,016. And seeing how much I spend, because I'm the grocery shopper for the family, I go out once a week and get groceries, but I also so I go to the grocery store, I also go to Dollarama, and I also go to a store called Almost Perfect, which has it's like kind of like a scratch and dent, or, I guess it's overstock food, so they're cheaper, but um, it's still easy to spend money there. So, yeah, so I definitely have room for improvement for my grocery shopping, because this is insane. Honestly, I didn't know it was that much. I knew it was more than $800 a month. I knew I was overspending, but before I tracked every single expense, I had no idea it was that much money. Um, yeah, so I guess I should say this is my favorite tab. I just created this because these are the most frequent expenses that we have. So just keeping it all together is easy for just record keeping. Our mortgage and rent. I'm not sure why I have this $395 here. It should be $428.40. Maybe I don't know. I have some sort of transcription error, but it's $98.87 every week. So that's all accounted for. And this is like my husband's spending. This is kind of miscellaneous spending that doesn't really need to happen, but it's kind of extra. Mind you, he does drive really, like, he drives like 3 hours each way to work with traffic. So, he does have some Tim Hortons spending and other miscellaneous spending. But this month really takes the cake. Like, I budgeted $87. It's usually, but I try to budget like $40 a week. Not sure why it's at $87.91. Maybe I've changed it one day, like when he was spending less, I kind of adjusted the budget accordingly, but it clearly needs to be adjusted again. But $1,500 is insane. That's a crazy amount to be spending on miscellaneous things. Hang on, what am I doing here? Yeah. Anyways, $1,563 spent this month, and it's not all Tim Hortons, obviously. But we did put in a garden this year, and a lot of those expenses were coming. I put into this account. I just put into the miscellaneous. So there's that, but in no way, shape, or form did it need to be that expensive. And it was because we're just paying with our debit card, and it's easy to overspend. Clearly, it's easy to overspend on just little things. They aren't all big ticket items, but you add them all up, and whoosh, that's a lot of money to be spending on just whatever. So going down, our housing, our mortgage is always. Oh, we already did that mortgage. Rent, we already went over that. It's $98.87 a week. Our Netflix subscription, $16.99 a month. We don't pay for trash utilities because we live on a trailer on my parents' property, and they don't really accept money from us. So that's one other reason why our grocery bill, and even our miscellaneous expenses are more, because we pick up the tab. I pay more for groceries, and we pick up the tab for the miscellaneous things, because it's just the right thing to do. They're not going to accept money for utilities, and we try to make up for it in other ways. Maintenance on the car and both of our vehicles. We have two vehicles. It's $480. That's not all the time, but I plan for $160. So we need to adjust our numbers here. It's not $480 every month. It's just by the time you have tire changeover, oil changes, stuff like that, brakes. My husband's needed brakes. It adds up, but that's a necessary expense. I don't really mind that. Gas, also a necessary expense. We're lucky that it's only my vehicle that needs gas. My husband has a gas card from his work, so we're spending less that way. The groceries we went over, spending too much. Restaurants, we never go out to eat, so that's no problem. My husband's cell phone, I plan for $210 because that's what it is when I think if he forgets to pay it, or it's on the high end. If he goes, I don't know what makes it more expensive, but it ranges from $150 to $210. So, or more for this month. I don't know why. It's his bill. I just recorded. My cell phone is $40 a month. My son has one. It's $28 a month. Uni fees, we don't really save for that anymore. We were saving for it, but since we stopped using cash, I haven't been saving for it. This is my husband's work union. Bank fees for this month were $123.45. I have no idea why. I guess I need to look into that, but that seems like outrageously high. Our internet is $46 a month. This will change. It's going to go higher because when we have kind of crappy internet, and when it is down, we get a discount. But it's been working lately, so we might have to pay up for that. Preschool we don't pay for. Hair haven't before, as you see. it's a crazy mess. Fun money, yeah, right. What is that? Clothing. I did buy clothes for my son in July, like this month, so I'll be putting more money into that. My Wealth Simple Trade is just my online stock trading, or stock buying, whatever, that I haven't done lately. I only started doing it, and then then my husband stopped working regularly, and I haven't got back into it. But I do plan on earmarking some of the tax money to increase our stocks because I think that's important. But I couldn't justify having the money in there because it's a long-term game. I couldn't justify having our money in there when we may have needed it otherwise. So, but now it's looking like I can start investing again, which would be great. My husband's tools and work stuff was $508.60. I don't have anything planned for it because he hasn't had to buy anything for work, I guess. But now I need to plan a savings for his work stuff. It's harnesses and safety things that he needs, so that's no problem. And there's just college fund. My dog's food is flea and tick medicine, and these are the kids' activities that they're not in this year, and their hot lunch. So those are zeros because they can't really do anything. That's what we already looked at. This is my husband's little slush fund there. Also convenience stores, which I kind of lumped in with this, so I can probably get rid of this heading here, and it's lumped in here. And birthdays, there's none coming up. Childcare, none. And then our debt, my credit card, I paid off a little extra this month, but in June, but in July, like the month we're currently in, I paid off all of it. So I used some of the tax money that I had, and I paid off all our credit card debt. Not all of our credit card debt, all of this credit card right here. So it is paid off. So no longer weight on our shoulders. This one is paid off. So that's awesome. I also have this money. This is another credit card, which I only use for online purchases, and I pay back right away. So it doesn't carry a balance. I'm even trying not to use it. I think I had to use it because I forgot my debit card or something when I was grocery shopping, and I had to use the credit card. So that's all I had. So but it gets paid off right away. It does not carry a balance. Car payment, my husband's car payment is $122 bi-weekly. So pay that. This is going to be the next payment that we're going to really concentrate on getting down to nothing because it's the next highest after this. This credit card only had like almost $2,000 when we started. My husband's car payment probably is about $7,000 or $8,000 left to pay on it, and that's the next in line. That's probably what some of our tax money is going to go towards. And then our Scotia Line credit is our big doozy of a credit card bill, like a line of credit, and it is $64,000. I hate saying that, but it's ridiculous. And once we pay off my husband's car, every single dime is going towards this credit card because it's just weighed on my shoulders for way too long. This is probably at least 10 years of debt. And it wasn't always this high, but it's just been accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. And you get a higher limit, and we put money on it, and it needs to be paid, and then never, ever, ever used ever again. I never get a line of credit again because it's too much pressure and too much. It needs to get paid off. And the rest of our expenses, these just come out of our account, our life insurance and auto insurance. And charity, I am giving $45 a month or $50 a month to charity now. I just started doing that. It's just, it's good to give back, even if it's just a small amount.
Hopefully it will increase as, our income increases and our debt decreases. Our emergency fund is already at $1,000, so we don't have to plan for that, or we don't have to save for that anymore. That's going to stay at $1,000 until we pay off our debts. And that's it. Whoosh, that was a lot, but that was our budget for June, and it was very eye-opening. When I was recording all the expenses, I would do it every few days, or sometimes it was a little longer, but every time I did it, I was just like, oh my God, we're so overspending. But it was really good, and I'm going to keep it up, and there's definitely room for improvement. These numbers need a little makeover and a little redo, but I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't keeping track of every single expense and recording it and seeing just how out of whack some of the numbers are. That was our June 2020 budget using Dave Ramsey's Everydollar budget app.
Obviously, it is pretty clear that improvements need to be made with our budget. It is not perfect. It needs to be updated, and adjustments need to be made, just in general. Basically, our budget needs a makeover, right? Like, it's old, and our numbers have changed, quite frankly, and I need to update the budget to reflect that. So what I've learned after this month of inputting my data regularly and taking all of our expenses into consideration and not just doing it haphazardly and whenever I feel like it, actually sitting down and doing it and finding out where all of our spending is going, or where our expenses are, and what miscellaneous spending we have been doing. I have learned a few things. Number one, I think it is very important to keep doing this. I haven't been so vigilant in the past of recording our spending habits, but this month made it pretty clear to me that we need to be doing this more often, and not doing this, but every month I need to be inputting everything we spent. That's what a budget is, and I honestly have been really lazy at it and not doing it. Well, it's time to kick my own butt a little bit and input every single expense as often as I can. If you can hear that, it's raining like crazy, and yeah, it's rain. We're finally getting rain. Hasn't rained in a long time, but now it's coming down. Lesson number 2 that I learned is that budgets change and they need to be adjusted over time. Like, sorry, I just knocked the table and moved a bunch of stuff. But anyways, they need to change. Just like anything else, they need maintenance, and they need to be updated to reflect your current situation. They're an ever-changing thing, and like I said, I've been lazy at my budget, and I need to update it, and so it accurately reflects what is happening right now. I need to update it so that it actually balances out, because right now it's kind of at a loss, and it needs to be found and needs to be balanced. And finally, the last thing I learned this month about budgets is that it's important to change your spending habits when you see a trend happening and not wait till the end of the month. Like, 1 week, say you spend $20 extra on Tim Hortons. Well, it's important to know that, so by tracking your expenses, and the next week adjust for it and not spend that much money, spend less, or better yet, spend nothing at Tim Hortons for that week. And that way it doesn't carry on for the whole month, because as a habit carries on, it's harder and harder to break. So if you can nip it in the bud right away, or as soon as you see a trend happening that is negatively affecting your budget, then change it right away. Don't wait till the end of the month. So that was my budget for June 2020. I hope you found that useful, maybe. But as you see, I have my work cut out for me for July, and it's already July 11th, so the month is almost half over, and I need to adjust my budget still and get it balanced. So that's my next job, and I hope you found some value in this video, and if you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you here. Please leave any of your budgeting questions, comments, concerns down below. I'll try to answer them for you, but as you know, I am no expert. I can give you my best advice, or find somebody that can, such as Dave Ramsey. But anyways, as always, stay positive, work hard, and wash your hands.